YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me for another housing crisis video. People in Auckland, in New Zealand, or west of Auckland, could breathe a sigh of relief because signs of bursting, crashing, or cooling off, or correction, whatever you want to call it, is happening before your eyes. This article is proving it. Hopefully it's not fake news by interest.co.New Zealand. And let's take a look at what it's saying here. It's a really good article. It says the lack of bidding at Barfoot and Thompson's latest auction shows buyers are becoming extremely cautious. This is who they are. They are like a real estate group that go out and show houses and get people's interest and stuff like that. It was hard going to Barfoot and Thompson's auction. The agency had office on Friday morning, the 8th of December. 25 properties were on offer, with 21 of them located in Auckland, western suburbs, plus 3 from North Shore and 1 in Grey Lynn. Most of these West Auckland were located in suburbs such as Massey, Atatu and Glen Eden, and a couple from Lynn and Avondale. Traditionally, these have been considered among the most affordable parts of Auckland to live. So you think that properties in these areas will sell readily? Will sell readily. Okay, but that was not to be. By the end of the auction, only 7 of the 25 properties had sold, giving clearance to a rate of just 28%. Even more ominously, of the 18 properties that were passed in, only 2 received any bids, and 16 properties of 64% of the 25 on offer received no bids at all. What is that telling you guys? People are retreating from the market. Of course, that does not mean that properties that were passed in will not eventually sell. Well, what about before? Before, when people are lining up and bidding and people are getting outbid and people on cell phones and tablets and talking to investors overseas, what happened to that? Anyways, but it does not show how much the market has slowed since the last year, when a clearance rate above 80% would be more likely to an auction of similar properties. The latest auction figures also show how much of a gap is developing between the price vendors expect to achieve and the price buyers are prepared to pay. Vendors with unrealistic expectations, I like how they call them vendors, not sellers. Unrealistic expectations are becoming a major problem for the real estate industry and are causing a buildup of unsold properties as we head towards the Christmas break. The key to achieving a sale is now increasingly about the negotiations that take place after the hammer has fallen. And finding an agent with the right negotiation skills in the situation could be crucial to having a successful outcome. Details of the properties offered at Friday's auction and the prices of the properties that sold are available on residential auctions results page. You can go there. We welcome your help to improve our coverage of this issue. Any examples or experiences to relate? Any links or other news, that data, the research to shed more light on this? Any insight or views that might happen next? What happened next? Any errors to correct? We welcome comments below. If you are already registered, so you got to register to comment, right? Well, my comment or what I feel or what I think is happening is just very simple. People just can't afford. Affordability is just not there. People in New Zealand are staying in hotels. You got all these houses from low-end renters or lower income renters that are basically trashing a lot of these properties. A lot of these homes need to be meth tested. New Zealand is going through a roller coaster of a storm in their housing crisis. And the amount of people having to be put up in hotels and people sleeping rough, it's really, really not supposed to be happening with a country like New Zealand. And the amount of people coming in, New Zealand's mistake was 2 years ago they believed they could build themselves out of this housing crisis, and that was a huge mistake. And then they started putting in different laws and different things into place to try and protect the New Zealand proper, but nothing held. And a lot of the politicians laid blind to this in New Zealand. A lot of them didn't care. As long as their pockets were being lined, they didn't give a rat's you-know-what about anything. But I wanted to show you this here. It's part of the article here. This is, look at this, guys. How you can save big bucks with your home loan. Enter your loan amount. So I put 560 whatever, 5.6 rate, 30-year amortization, and should be a 4 or 5 year term, but it's not there. That's $3,218 for 30 years of payments. Total interest $597,983 for $560,000. So you're paying more in interest than what you're borrowing. So guys, this is very important that you guys understand this. This is beyond anything, and I've been following this housing crisis for so long now, because, you know, leaving the state of, like, leaving Florida, for example, the average house around the peak. This is when 2007, 2008, just before the crash, when things were, the average house went from 110,000 to 300,000. And everyone was going crazy. These houses are going from, for example, 160,000 to $2 million. That's the gap. And that's why the New Zealand crash, the Australian crash, the Canadian crash is going to be so much bigger, and the UK crash, because the amount of gapness. So I want someone that's really smart out there that actually do some numbers and see the amount a house would have cost in Arizona at the peak of the crash in the United States in 2007, would say roughly $309,000 for a good house at the peak of the, just before the crash. Houses went up, let's say, $130,000, let's say, in Arizona. But the problem with Canada is, or New Zealand is, that same $300,000 or $200,000 house went to $1 to $2 million. So the gap is enormous. It's an enormous gap to make up that void. So I'm just trying to make you guys understand what I'm telling you. So when I came up to Canada, houses in 2007, 2008 were $700,000, $800,000 for a house. And I'm like, wait a minute. This house in West Palm Beach, even during peak time before the crash in West Palm Beach, is probably $270,000, maybe $350,000, maybe. But they're asking $700,000 in that time in Vancouver. Like, there's no way. But then after I saw things going, and then I was watching that same house, and that friggin' guy wanted to sue me because I was following his house on the market getting flipped many times. And that house went up to $2.6 million. And that same house in West Palm Beach would probably be under 250, maybe okay, 375,000 with a pool, because all these houses in Florida have a pool. So about 375,000, and it's $2.2 million in Vancouver. So I don't know if you guys remember that house, but I was getting threatened to be sued. If anyone remembers that house that I was following for a long time, comment below. I'd like to know if you still remember that. And yeah, you know, people have their house on public sale sites for people to see. You talk about it, and they want to sue you. It's like your house is up for public sale. Like, you know, everyone's looking to sue everyone nowadays. So you got to watch out what you say, because they want to sue because they made a bad business decision. Anyways, guys, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let me know what you guys think.